It's the most wonderful time of the year, and what better place to celebrate the holiday spirit than in the city where Will Ferrell wore tights, Arnold Schwarzenegger chased toys, and Macaulay Culkin did that thing with his face. Yes, New York City, the city that never sleeps, at least until it's hit by a devastating disease that leaves thousands wheezing, limping, and tucked up into bed. Dying. That's the situation in Massive Entertainment's The Division, which puts you and a squad of 4 in an infected, crumbling, mid-apocalyptic New York City, which is dynamic, connected, and ever-evolving. If you want to get caught up to speed on the project, I'd recommend checking out a video I made a few months ago. I'll put it on the screen so you can go watch it. No, seriously, I can wait. If you're a Division expert, I'd recommend skipping forward to the Q&A segment, as I don't want to bore you with things you already know. But for now, let's analyse the mind-blowing new trailer they've released before moving on to some of the words the dev team have given me. The E3 demo was astonishingly realistic, and never before has a door closing generated so much hype. But it's for a good reason too, because that door just closing summed up so much of Massive's technological expertise and attention to detail. And this is all supported by a dynamic, robust engine, and it starts with the visuals. Layered on top of high-definition textures and expertly crafted models, the volumetric real-time lighting lets the city shine in the lights or fester in the shadow. A full day-to-night cycle allows the city to change from a terrifying unknown pit of darkness to a slightly less terrifying illuminated battleground. And the weather too will change minute to minute. The E3 showdown could have been played with or without snow. In fact, I'd like to imagine that eventually you'll be able to dive in and mod the PC code so that you can change the weather at will. Like Frozone from The Incredibles. But the engine isn't just about visuals. These aren't just cosmetic changes. They will have genuine gameplay implications. For instance, in the dark you might have to be more cautious of where you go, but you'll gain a stealth advantage. And in the daytime, while you can spot enemies easier, you'll have to be careful of pedestrians wandering around in the daytime. On top of this, you've got what Massive are calling the most realistic destruction system to date. And I'm not hesitant to believe them if their police car door is anything to go by. Last month the team also divulged a few specifics about gear and inventory. The trendy single-strap backpack is called the Go Bag, packing all the supplies, ammunition, food and water needed for a 72-hour stint. Yes, you heard right, food and water will feature in the game, but while they're not essential to survival, they will prove useful on the battlefield as they provide buffs, and you can also sell them on the black market. To generate that fancy holographic map, your agent is equipped with a distributed computing system, which is in his watch, his contact lenses, his earpieces and so on. The iconic orange circle is the heart of the system, housing the antenna and the main computer. Communication is key in such a hostile environment, and dynamic maps and alerts are essential for your agent's survival. On to the Q&A. Matthias Karlsson, the lead gameplay designer, and Alex Ridby, the design director, were nice enough to answer a few of my questions over email. I know, I can't quite believe it either. But their answers have given me quite an insight into how they're creating the game, and the full answers are available on a website, so go over there if you want to comb through the details. Firstly, I asked how they were realising the most realistic New York City that's ever been done in the game. Matthias said that they wanted to create a real New York City, and New York City is very diverse, and they wanted all the players to experience the different districts and streets and areas within the game. So what they've done is they've collected a huge amount of reference data from pictures, from videos and sound recordings. They've even created mathematical resonance models of each street, so wherever you go, all the sounds will reverberate in the right way. I also wanted to know a little more about mission structure, about how open-ended the approaches will be, and how you can interact with your team. Axel, the design director, told me that players are completely free to decide who they want to be and how they want to play. Through different equipment, skills and abilities, you'll have a wealth of choices, from barging in the front door to laying traps to staying at a distance and picking off enemies. Agents will be able to swap their skills on the fly too, so not only will you be able to adapt as the battle evolves, but you'll be able to coordinate your strategy with your team incredibly efficiently. But clearly what the team are most proud of and what they're finding most challenging is building this deep and expansive world in a reasonably sized game. Matthias said that's exactly why they built the Snowdrop engine, so that they can, quote, build this vast, diverse and dynamic world in a very efficient way. In a previous community Q&A, Ryan Barnard said that the open world is personalised to you and your group. This is meaning things like the environment, destruction and renovation will change the way your city feels and behaves. So you're in control of your instance of New York City, but Ryan also said that there'll be major story events which change your instance of New York. And this is really exciting because it's not just going to be a stationary MMO style experience where the most exciting thing happening is the players. It's going to feel much more personal and cinematic and ultimately more immersive and engaging. This is something that could only have been done on next-gen consoles and high-end PCs, but Matthias says he wants to take that even further. This is a quote from him: "We want to push next gen to new limits." And I think that's why The Division is going to be one of my most anticipated games of 2014. Thank you, seriously, for taking the time to watch. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and or secular holiday festivity. In the meantime, leave some questions below about The Division or about any game, because I'm hoping to do a community show in the new year, so send me a message and maybe, just maybe, you'll get featured. Sharing, liking and commenting really helps me out, and it helps me get in touch with you and helps me inform and make more videos. But until then, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.